From Television City in Hollywood, it's time to press your luck.
I just came off a 3-day trek from my hometown in Ohio. And I drive an ice cream truck. I love the show. I've probably seen every episode.
I like the guy. Stories like those are why America loves game shows.
Let's meet our 3 contestants vying for the big bucks.
Big bucks.
Now, the big board is filled with money, but be careful of the whammies because they'll take you right back down to 0.
Let's see those big bucks. Stop!
4,000 and a spin.
I'm gonna keep going.
Stop! 16,000.
You also in this? Pass, man.
Mathematicians are giving me 6 to 1 odds.
What's wrong with this guy?
Keep going.
He's gonna go. Stop! $24,000.
Again.
We have a problem. Somebody didn't vet this guy. He's not playing the game right. We gotta scare him.
It'd be a real pity we got held up here in LA.
It's a lot of money. Do you want to spend and risk losing it all?
I said again.
I tried to warn him.
Just find out who this guy is. Are you doing something wrong?
I'm actually closing a big deal right now. That's gonna change everything.
I don't know what to tell you. Heads are gonna roll for this.
Do I know you from somewhere? Not America's Most Wanted, right?
You think that he's working alone?
I have no idea.
All part of the game, right?
You just made more than anyone in the history of game shows.
Luck is just a good excuse to do nothing and then hope that an opportunity comes a knocking.
Sorry, you're gonna have to wait a minute. Okay.
Recording in progress.
Sorry, 20 minutes of torture, Paul.
All good, man. Let's have fun. Let's talk.
Let's have fun. How are you? How's this?
Spoiled.
What?
You said, how are you? I said spoiled. I am a
Spoiled.
spoiled, rotten kid. I got a wife who's my best friend and is pregnant with our 3rd born coming this summer.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. I've done a bunch of movies that are coming out this year. I think I have 5 movies coming out this year.
That's insane.
Possibly 6. It depends on one of the release dates, but I'm proud of all of them. I really am. It's been a lot of fun. And this movie in particular, The Luckiest Man in America, it's one of these colorful, unforgettable films. I don't think it'll be a film people soon forget. I think the style and the story and the colorful cast, it's really got something for everybody.
Well, I'm kind of just impressed you remember it, considering all the parts you're playing and the all the film work you're doing.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Hopefully you don't get sick of me. We'll see.
Nah, because you escape in your roles, right?
I try to do the chameleon thing that I saw so many actors do that I admire, you know?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, we'll get to The Luckiest Man in America, which is opening in theaters on April 4th momentarily. I was kind of curious because was it the Richard Jewell part which really put you, really kick-started the career, would you say?
There were a few different like intervals, kind of like career highlights. I think I, Tonya was the first movie where people said, "Who's that guy?" But they didn't know my name.
Yeah.
I think after Richard Jewell, it became more of a name thing. And then I think Blackbird was the one that everybody said, "Okay, you're in the club."
You're in the club.
So Yeah, that's kind of been the uptick, those 3 projects.
Hmm. So, all right, well, yeah, that's good that you have a sense of that. I think that's pretty cool. I think, I mean, between the Richard Jewell and the I, Tanya, I mean, that's just phenomenal stuff. Really is.
Good movies, man.
They're such good movies.
Got to
You can
work
have,
with really cool people.
yeah, and you can get you have a perspective of it. You can keep that perspective because you're just working so much. I mean, I'm thinking, uh, you know, maybe you lose sight of some of that stuff, but the first thing you say is you're spoiled. I don't
Very
know if you're
much so.
probably somebody who's actually spoiled wouldn't say that, but I get what you mean. And
I feel spoiled. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
God is good. Hollywood's been good to me as well. There are many things one could complain about, but I've met more good people than bad in this industry. Most of them are very much alike, and we're all just trying to have fun and tell stories and
Yeah,
get paid on occasion.
yeah, that's great. Um, well, how did this film did fall into your or come to your purview? Like, did you or just like your manager sent you the script, or how did this come about?
Yeah, this went to my manager back in like 2021, I think. And it was something that was on my radar as existing, but it wasn't really set up yet. And it didn't have any attachments. So I was kind of like, oh, I'll pay attention when I need to.
Mm-hmm.
And that was around the time I went off to shoot Blackbird too.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of in another world there with what I was doing. So it resurfaced about a year or two later, and my buddy Ricky Russert, who I did I, Tanya with, who is acting in this film as well. Ricky was like, "Hey man, did you get this offer? My friend Amanda is producing it and worked on it." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I know what this is. Should I look at it again?" He's like, "Yeah, dude, it's happening. Uh, Read it. They want you for the guy." So I read it, and I thought this is like a sweet movie, and it's something I would enjoy watching. Yeah, I love the movie Quiz Show from Robert
Yeah,
Redford. I think it was
of course.
94.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of my favorite movies of all time. And this kind of felt like the I don't know what I would call it, the Jonathan Dayton, Valerie Ferris version of Quiz Show.
Mm-hmm.
It's got
Yeah.
that heart and that humor. And Samir is a hell of a director. I don't know if you've seen his other work, but
Mm,
he's really, really a bright, stylistic guy who has a big heart, and he kind of champions the underdog. He had me watch Paris, Texas, and he told me
I
to
heard he told me. Yep.
study Harry Dean Stanton and stuff. He's one to watch, I think.
Had you seen Paris, Texas before?
Um,
Be honest.
yes, but only because of Tony Toast, the writer director of my movie Americana, which
Uh-huh.
comes out this summer with me and it's me, Sydney Sweeney, Eric Dane, Simon Rex. He told me to watch it. So then Samir like gifted me the DVDs. Like, I want you to watch this. I was like, I've seen it. I love it. Oh my God. He gave me like the Criterion Blu-ray,
Mm-hmm.
and it proudly sits in my collection at home. And
Mine too.
sometimes the director will just reference something, and I'll go, "Oh, I'm talking to a real artist,"
Mm-hmm.
and that might sound a little snobby to
No,
some.
no.
But
Let's not worry about it.
but I really like when I meet a director who gives me an idea of what the movie's going to be based on these other sorts of films, and that was a hallmark for him. So I kind of
Right.
studied that a little bit.
I did talk to him for a little bit before this, and he mentioned Paris, Texas, as a hallmark or touchstone. And I said to him, and it just happens to be true in this case that I had Vim Vendors on my podcast sometime not that long ago. It was like one of my highlights of not just doing this podcast, but like just of probably my life, because when Wings of Desire and Paris, Texas, both of those movies like changed me, and that's kind of what you hope happens with art. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at its very least, you hope folks are entertained, and at its best,
Right.
you hope they're educated or even changed. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
can
I
happen.
think Yeah, I've had a few movies do that to me. Some documentaries more than anything because they're so close to the bone, I think.
I won't
But
put you
yeah.
on this. I won't put you on the spot, but if one comes to mind, you'll let me know. And um,
Oh, I immediately, yeah, I look at Hoop Dreams and I say,
yeah,
there's too
good,
much
good one.
pressure. There's too much pressure put on these young people, and we
Mm,
put them in situations where we say, go be great. Uh, but we tell them to be great. We don't tell them that they are great. And
mm,
that's kind of crippling to the spirit. That kind of does something to a still formative mind. And it's really,
mm,
really difficult.
mm.
And another one that changed me a lot was uh oh God, what was that documentary about the Navalny? Have you seen Navalny?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah. Some
So,
amazing. Oh,
oh my goodness.
I
I could talk about
know.
it all day, but
Yeah,
very
yeah,
revelatory to the way things work in the real
yeah,
world, if you
yeah.
will.
I think that yeah, I'm right there with you, and I don't like. Well, I enjoy bragging when in the rare cases where I can, but I did also have Steve James on here a few times who made um the documentary
Which
I
one?
like the one of the basketball
Hoop Dreams.
hoop
Yeah.
dreams. I just had a little mind
Amazing
fart.
that you
Little fart.
got to talk to him.
Well, I'm like,
That's really cool.
because I'm moved too, and I got friendly with it. We hung out a bunch of times. But the guy is like an incredible, yeah, just incredible storyteller. I don't want to miss the opportunity in our relatively short time we have to not talk a little bit about the luckiest man in America and this character. And what one of the things that is so interesting about the character is like, is this guy a cheat? Is he like, what's the hell? Like, I mean, technically he's not. He's just figured something out and he's using it and help, like figured but it does explore this idea of what is moral, and what, you know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah, no, there's a morality tale there for sure, but I think
uh
the morality tale has more to do with the why behind what he's doing rather than what he's doing. Because
okay.
while CBS would try to say he's ripping us off, it's like, no, he's not. He just figured out a better methodology to win the game.
Yeah.
It's no different than the guys involved in the Moneyball story. They didn't
Hmm.
rip anybody off. They figured out how to
Play the system or work the
maximize
system.
work the system and maximize wins from a different angle.
Hmm.
So leave it to a giant studio to be mad that someone made money off a good performance. But I think the true morality tale comes in the why. Is Michael Larson really doing this because he needs the money to provide for his family, or is he a gambling addict with an ego problem and he's kind of out on this quest for expensive, lucrative thrills, as it were? And I think that's kind of the Wall Street mentality where
Hmm.
you start off and you get into it and you kind of are corrupted by that environment. And he kept putting himself in those positions when he could have been at his daughter's birthday or been at
Right.
the
Yeah.
Nook working a nine to
Yeah.
five, but you have to be okay with living that monotony or mediocrity as he deemed it.
How good is the script where instead of telling you blatantly these things, they just show a videotape that of your family of some sort of special family event and that you've erased it for to watch a video of or record a video of the game show so you could study it. Like that kind of
Super
wraps
dark.
up super dark, right? So
Really,
how do you
really disappointing. I'd forgotten about it until you brought it up. That's one of the better written parts of a well-written movie. Yeah.
yeah, 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 right? That's why you go back to films for moments like that, which what makes us repeated viewings of a film, which we all do, right? I mean, you mentioned Paris, Texas. I watched that, probably 3 or 4 times over my life, just because it just brings it's like a new experience every time I watch it. And it would be great to have a movie like that with the luckiest man in America. Like, you know, you it there's a value to rewatching it, you know. And how do you, here's a complicated guy. It must be a dream to play that as an actor, right? Because it gives you stuff to think about and explore. It's not all there, all black and white.
For me, it is. Yeah, I really enjoy playing people that are complicated or have a duality or live in the gray rather than the sort of black cowboy hat, white cowboy hat, good, bad is so loudly presented. I think that's the real world. But selfishly, as an actor, I am looking for complicated roles, and I had this moment at some award show. I saw Glenn Powell, and he and I are kind of friendly, and just bumped into each other and said hi. And I said, "When are we going to do something, man? Let's do the road trip movie." He's like, "I would love that." I said, "Let's do like a Rain Man. I'll be Dustin Hoffman, you be Tom Cruise." And he goes, "No, no, no, no." He goes, "You don't get to be all the Dustin Hoffmans. You be Tom Cruise, I'll be Dustin Hoffman." And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, yeah."
Yeah,
But he was
type.
only half joking. He's really making the point of like, because he's classically attractive, he's not always getting the complicated roles. He's sometimes getting the more straight person thrown into a complicated scenario.
Right.
But I think as actors, we all want to kind of play against types sometimes too. So to his point, yeah, it will be fun for me to play something a little more straightforward as well, which we'll see if I get that opportunity. Actually, you know what?
What?
I can't talk about it yet, but I did get a script the other day. I got an offer on a movie from a buddy of mine that I've known for maybe a decade. His production company sent it to me, and it was so refreshing that the character, though flawed, wasn't super quirky and ridiculous. It was a little more tempered in reality, and in the reality of the movie, not the character's reality, which was a very refreshing, thing to get offered.
Yeah. Well, I hope that one. Hopefully that one will take. Yeah.
See, you never know. This industry doesn't have a lot of certainty. You just got to hang on, try not to fall off the roller coaster.
So, and what was your, at the end of the day, I guess, what is your relationship with Michael Larson then?
Oh man, I think my relationship to him is one of a cautionary tale, and quite like Michael Larson, I have been in the throes of my own agendas and tried to explain them away and justify them, and I've needed to come back to reality and face the music and not be conflict avoidant and to take the reins of responsibility, whatever that looks like. And in my life, it's done me good every time I did that.
Yeah.
It's good to come back to the ground and be humbled and do the right thing, as my buddy Spike would say.
Spike
Lee, do the right thing.
I thought, yeah.
Yeah.
His brother, by the way, is a pal of mine. Cinque is
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I met Cinque, worked with him. He's awesome.
You have? Yeah, he texted me the other day. We were over the weekend about some his new project. I was very excited, so I have to go.
Cinque took photos on Black Klansman, I think.
Yeah, I know he did. Yeah, he usually does on his brother's films. Yeah.
He's a sweet guy.
That was the luckiest. I'm not going to take too much more time. I just happened to be at the Alamo Draft House in Brooklyn, and I was sitting at the bar. I don't know if I'm assuming it's still there. And he walks in, and I knew who he was because I'm just like a freak, I guess. And then we ended up. I said hello, and we started chatting. And the next thing you know, we're hanging out for a couple of hours, and then we met at the same place the next night. I took him to a film because I happened to have an invitation to see something, and been good friends since.
That's fun, man. Sharing the love of film.
Yeah, that's
a
big deal.
For guys like you and me that sometimes are, not to say that you don't watch sports. I just mean so many of my male friends bond over the New York Giants or the Detroit Red Wings. So for me, that's the way me and my guy friends talk movies and music.
Well, I hope you. I'm only going to say this not because I expect with your schedule to really be able to necessarily spend much time, but if you get a chance to check out the podcast, you might actually enjoy it. It is conversation. I've been doing it for like 14 years. I mean, I make my living in radio, but I only mention it because you actually might like
Oh yeah,
the
I'll check
podcast
it out.
called Filmwax, and but and it's been and then when I seen you, I've always said, oh, this is a guy I really want to bring on. Huh? What's that?
Oh, I didn't say anything. I think it was a buzzing noise.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah,
it was
sorry.
like, I enjoyed the movie and very much. I like complicated characters, and I was like, thinking, having seen you a bunch of times, this is the kind of actor I love to talk to when I do talk to actors. So, I'm really appreciative. The Luckiest Man in America is coming out theatrically, pretty neat, on April 4th, thanks to IFC Center. Excuse me, IFC Films. Pardon me, and you know, I hope that we have the opportunity to do this again because I don't think we barely scratched the surface, and it's fun to talk films.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would love to, man. Let me know. One of my favorite things to talk about, obviously, and I'm such a fanboy
Yeah.
myself. I'm sure we'd have a
Yeah.
lot to talk about.
Oh yeah, yeah. Or we can talk, football, but I think we'll probably have a better time talking.
Oh,
Film.
I think that'll be a shorter conversation, at least from my
Me
end.
too. Oh, for
A
sure.
little ignorant.
Last thing, real quick though, and because I was thinking this before when you brought up the Jets, and I grew up in Queens. But where'd you grow up?
Ooh, I just
I
got the
know.
yawn train going through my
I
whole system.
I always
Sorry.
get it. I get one of those at least every interview, so don't worry about it.
Oh, dude, it has to do with jet lag and
Yeah.
worrying about my kids and work stuff. Oh, I need to go on a vacation one day.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I grew up in Saginaw, Michigan.
Oh,
So Saginaw, Michigan is real
sure.
big on Detroit Red Wings, Detroit Tigers, of course,
Right.
the Detroit Pistons. And I actually grew up a Green Bay Packer fan. We had a friend of the family who kind of converted us to Packerism
Hmm.
early on, and I've been following them loosely my whole life.
Well, um, thank you for making time today, and I'm gonna urge everybody to go see The Luckiest Man in America in theaters. By the way, see it in the theater. Do yourself a kindness. You know what I mean? See Paul Walter Hauser in The Luckiest Man in America. I feel pretty lucky for this opportunity, and hopefully we'll do it again. Thanks a lot. Hit the record
Thank
button.
you, man. Are you on
Hey, Adam.
Instagram?
Nice to meet you, Samir.
Likewise. Thank you
You're a
for
good-looking fellow. Very good-looking fellow.
Thank you.
Dramatic beard. I like it. Before we get to The Luckiest Man in America, I must see Cactus Blossom. It just sounds wild.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
No, I want to see it. I want to see your and Bad Lucky Goat too. I know that I was just seeing what else he had made before this. So
Yeah. They're somewhere there. I think Bad Lucky Goat is on Tubi and Cactus Blossom is on Vimeo, so you can watch those.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Um, well, it's nice to make your acquaintance. And right from the top, I'll mention that The Luckiest Man in America, which you directed and co-wrote, will be in theaters here in the States on April 4th, right?
Yep, exactly.
Now, so do you know like how that's breaking out? Like, is it starting in a couple of cities and then, I mean, I guess that might be a question for the publicist. I don't know, but
No, we're actually. It looks like we're gonna go wide. And
nice.
hold on the biggest. Yeah, the biggest places where it lands.
Great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You must be kind of excited.
Yeah. I'm super excited. I really wanna. I'm glad that it's going to a bunch of theaters. Just this, I don't know. I think a lot of people watch game shows, so I hope that they. A lot of people grew up with the game show, so I'm happy.
Absolutely. I know I did for sure. So it does kind of have that familiarity to me. And but and then where will you be on April 4th? Or are you going to be at doing some Q&As?
Yeah. I'm gonna do a Q&A in New York,
Oh,
actually.
good idea.
Yeah.
Nice. So I know this is a story that which has been one of curiosity and of it's kind of piqued your interest, right, at some point a while ago when you first heard about it, correct?
Yeah, yeah. So I actually found a VHS tape on a thrift shop. I like when I'm writing, I like to go to these places to look for film negatives and for photos. Just because it's good inspiration for characters. And I
Ah,
found a bunch of VHS tapes, and I played one of them, and it was a taping for Press Your Luck, which I had never seen before. And then when I was researching about the show, I found out about the scandal, and I was like, "Oh, this must be a really good movie." And then there was no movie, so we decided to make it.
but right. I mean, it's a great story for sure. The videotape though that you found in the thrift shop was just a random episode of Press Your Luck, the
Yeah,
game show. It
yeah.
wasn't. It wasn't necessarily the one that might.
No, that would have been too perfect.
That would have been a little on the nose. It would have been. Yeah, for sure. It's
Exactly.
interesting. A videotape plays a role or like a small part in the movie because at one point, he's the main character. His name is. Or just remind me before I go. I'm blanking for a second.
Chuck,
What?
who the guy that starts investigating the tapes?
No, no, the actual
Oh, Michael.
Michael, of course. I said that a moment ago, and then I started second guessing myself. I'm sorry. So Michael, yeah, he drives an ice cream truck, and he kind of lives in it, or at least he's occupying it as he makes his way over to L.A. to be on the game show. And among his belongings in there are some videotapes, and we see one of them because it's taken out. And long story short, yeah, he's recorded over family video, right? He's recorded the show so he can study the show, and it just says it speaks volumes that moment in there.
Exactly. I'm glad you caught it. That's exactly what we meant, what our intention was.
I thought I was the only one who did that. Yeah. So, and then I was looking a little into the actual story because I just couldn't believe this was real, but of course it is real, and this guy, Paul really is something of a dead ringer. Or at
Yeah,
least, I'm sure it took some costume, some makeup and hair styling, but pretty amazing. How did
yeah,
that work
yeah,
out?
yeah. I'm super satisfied with how it all came together. We were able to speak in depth about the character with him, and we always spoke about how he was going to be like an onion, and we were going to peel layers off of him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we watched Paris, Texas, because Travis, when he shows up, um, he's a mystery. He's an enigma, and that's exactly what we wanted Michael to be. And then as the movie progresses, you start revealing and revealing and revealing until you reach his emotional core. So that was kind of the same character journey that we wanted to have with this movie.
Mm. Oh, I didn't. Yeah, that wouldn't have occurred to me, but I like that. I like the disparity of it, and how you can come from Paris, Texas, to the luckiest man in America. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
like to brag. Well, all right, I do like to brag occasionally, but I had on Vin Vendors on here a few months back. I don't,
Really beautiful.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was a. I don't usually get intimidated or. I mean, he was lovely, but still, when somebody like changes your life with
Yeah,
the films they make,
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
still it's a daunting thing. But
Was he on for Perfect Days?
yes, yeah,
Amazing.
I had been trying for a while, and it just came about, and it was just turned out to be really wonderful, and it was a great film, so that's nice too,
Yeah.
right? It was such a beautiful, moving story.
Um,
Um, the themes, though, in this film, what I found very cool was this. It kind of forced you to grapple with the notion of, was Michael the character who, the main character in the film, was he? Um, Committing fraud or not? Like what constitutes um, you know, cheating? There's a history of some cheating in right game shows, but of course, just about everywhere. And where's the line drawn? And it's very blurry here, as I think it should be. Because it's such a call. It's a real conversation.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. That was the intention. We wanted people to be in this gray zone in which they didn't know if they should be rooting for him or they should be feeling sorry for the guy. And yeah, I'm glad that that's where you felt, because that was the intention all along.
Where was your kind of, journey figuring out this guy and this character?
Um, it was so we set out to answer 4 questions, which were: what is he doing? How is he doing it? Who really is the guy? And why is he doing it? So that's how we structured it, and the way in which we were revealing information was following that arc. And we spoke with Paul about it in
Mm-hmm.
depth, so that he would remain an enigma throughout until it was time to reveal a new piece of information. So that was the process for that.
Did Paul have much to do with developing the character? I mean, that's kind of a naive question. Any a halfway great a good actor, and he certainly is one of those. I would.
Of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Paul really wanted to nail the way that he played the show.
Mm-hmm,
He
mm-hmm.
was really specific about the way that he would press the button, and that the way that he would celebrate and yell "stop." And I think he
Yeah, that
nailed it.
becomes a big part of the story. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly.
Yeah. Stop.
Exactly. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I mean, was there the footage of that episode? Does it live? I didn't read
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, yeah. It's on YouTube, actually.
Oh, it is. Okay, I guess I should have checked that out first. But
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's interesting because that was our only source material for this, which allowed us to play with everything that we didn't know
mhm,
outside of these 2 tapings, which
mhm,
was the audition, what happened before the show started, what happened in the commercial breaks in between the 2 tapings, after the show ended, what was happening in the control room, more importantly.
mhm,
And
mhm.
that's where we came in to dramatize all this stuff.
That's where what?
Where we came in to dramatize
Right. So was the fiction part.
was the fiction part. We
Uh,
were lucky enough that we had Bill Carruthers Jr., so the
uh-huh.
son of the creator of the show.
The son of the host, of
No,
the original host.
creator of
Oh, he was just the creator. David Strathern's
exactly,
character. I
David
see.
Strathairn character. He was our creative consultant. So he read a couple of versions of the script, and he gave us a bunch of really good information about the day. He was in the room actually when Michael auditioned, and he told us about the plate. So the plate is actually something that happened. But yeah, he was also a big source of information for this.
Mm. What a great cast, though. Among we mentioned Paul Walter Hauser, of course, who plays Michael, the main character. David Strathern, Walton Goggins, who's I think in just about everything. Had that I've been seeing lately, anyway, and in a smaller role, Johnny Knoxville, right?
Yep. Yeah,
Kind
yeah,
of a
yeah.
Carson, maybe Dick Cavett, a prototypical '70s talk show host, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that was the idea
Yeah,
with
and
him.
it kind of goes into a surreal, s- you know,
Maybe, maybe. That's
was he
that's the
on?
that's the
Do we
beauty,
know?
that we didn't
Yeah,
know. We didn't know what
absolutely.
happened.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Sorry. And Bill Carruthers Jr. would tell us that when he was like the day of the taping, he was like a very fidgety, unsteady person that was always like looking and moving and
Hmm.
shifting.
Hmm.
And what if he stumbled out of the studio and he could have had that moment?
Poetic license.
Yeah.
Um, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so, and the film again, it's called "The Luckiest Man in America." It opens wide in the states here on April 4th. It had its was the world premiere at Toronto.
Yeah.
How was that experience for you? And what did the audiences? How did they respond?
It was great. It was amazing. It was
Yeah.
it was a dream, because we finished shooting the first week of September 2023, and exactly 1 year later, first week of September
Oh, that's right.
2024, we were premiering at TIFF, and then we got acquired at the festival by IFC. So everything went. It was just a dream,
Kind of
and
is, right?
audiences were great. We had the second screening was at the Royal Alex, and it was 1,200 people, and just hearing 1,200 people responding to the movie is amazing. It was very emotional.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible for your second feature, right?
Yeah, yeah. This is the second one. It was great.
Wow, um, that's pretty amazing. You know, in addition to the two features now and the short, have you, you know, what have you made other, I don't know, episodics or?
Not yet. I'm actually about to do it next semester. It's going to be my first time directing television.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I cannot reveal too much though.
Enough. We can only use our imaginations if this is the kind of you there seems to be though a streak in your storytelling that is there. I don't know if maybe absurdist is the way to. I'm just guessing because I again I haven't seen the other feature, but it's from what I'm looking when I read and can tell, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I love absurdism and things, sometimes real things that are stranger than fiction.
Oh, yeah, very much so. You're right. Exactly. I mean, this story, it definitely is absurd as it gets because, you know, he is learned how to read um, he figured out the secret sauce. In other words, the recipe for how to win the game, and you know, and I just like also the fact that I mentioned earlier you know, this idea of what did he cheat? You know, I personally think like, he figured out, something and they weren't doing a very good job of hiding it from people as we learn. But the other thing is this idea of what a hero is and how that term is used, to apply to him, like that he's kind of become a hero. Um,
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
you
So,
know?
um, again, it goes back to
Uh-huh.
um, the the accomplishing of the American dream
Yeah.
that I feel like it's still very relevant today. Um,
Yeah. The capitalist sort of
oh, absolutely. Yeah,
win, right?
totally, totally. Which now is like Mr. Beast on YouTube. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like game shows were the first analog attempt at that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
where they became crazy on YouTube. Um, yeah,
Well, I wish you all the success and luck. I really am glad for the opportunity of seeing it. I'm going to, urge people to see The Luckiest Man in America. And Paul's work is really tremendous in it. Um, everybody who's, I love the cast. David Strathern has always been like one of my favorite actors. So it was really nice to see him pop up.
it was amazing working
Tell
with.
him, tell me he was really obnoxious and difficult to work with. And
No, no, the opposite. He
he's
was
actually coming. I'm up in the Hudson Valley, north of the city, and he's actually doing a play up here, or at least possibly a reading. I just saw up right in the immediate area.
beautiful. Say hi if you see him.
Oh, I will. I'll do that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. He was such a pleasure to work with.
Well, enjoy this huge experience you're about to have, this theatrical, and I hope we get a chance to do this again with a future project.
Let's hope so. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you so
All
much.
right. My pleasure. Thank you.